Okay, Danny, can you hear us? Peter, can you still hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, because we're using the TV, so a big TV. So yeah, please speak up nice and loud, and everyone. Sebastian, thank you for joining us. Welcome to this event, and we're just about to start and fix the sound issues. And can you say something, Sebastian?
Thank you very much. Zambia is well. How is, are you at Nanjing or where are you seated?
Yeah, we're in Nanjing in the headquarters of Made-in-China.com. And
Okay.
yeah, so we're just about to start now, and let's get started. One moment, everyone. Yep.
One of the most difficult part of doing international trade is building connections, which is even more difficult in an era of restricted travel to China.
As a leading third-party international platform, Made in China knows the importance of working with our international partners to understand the needs of the buyers.
Dear guests, welcome to Sourcing from China 2022, Maintaining Mutual Understanding During Restricted Travel, hosted by Made-in-China.com. I'm Lee.
Hello, and I'm Chris, and I want to thank all our guests today for joining us to share their expertise.
Allow me to introduce our suppliers today. First off, we have Mr. Shen Wei, Grand Export Manager of Shanghai Screw Compressor. Shanghai Screw Compressor focus on developing and manufacturing of screw air compressor. Products are available in 43 countries. Then we have Ms. Wang Lianshan, Head of Export Department from Zhejiang Luyuan Electric Vehicle. Luyuan Electric Vehicle was founded in 2001. Luyuan is a group company which contains 7 manufacturer bases, including Vietnam. Luyuan has over 1.3 million users in domestic China market and exported to more than 70 different countries. Next off, we have Ms. Xu Zhen, Head of Branding Department of Hangzhou SingClean Medical Products. SingClean Medical was established in 2002. SingClean was an annual production capacity of 12 million sets of various medical devices and achieved sales over 90 million euros in 2021. And we have Wang Zhongwen, Head of Export Department of Nanjing Blue Sky Filter. Nanjing Blue Sky Filter produces industrial filters and vacuum cleaner dust bags with ISO standard. These products are available in more than 13 major countries. Final off, we have Mr. Lu Ying, Head of Export Department, which is online today with us. He's from Zhejiang Oval Intelligent Technology, which is established in 2013. Oval Intelligent Technology offers solution in non-woven fabric industry, had exported to more than 50 countries and regions. Oval also participated in formulating the international standard of non-woven making machine.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. And on the international side, we are happy to have representatives from Africa, Europe, and Asia to discuss the buying trends. And so let's get straight to it. First of all, well, let me introduce all 5 first. We have Dr. Sebastian Kapolunde, the CEO and founder of the Zambian International Trade and Investment Center. We have Peter Kaniowicz, the China Trade Consultant for the Polish China Chamber of Commerce. Vito Costa, the head of North Portugal for the Portugal China Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Danny van der Heuvel, the Managing Director of the Dutch Chinese Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Secretary General, Mr. Paul from the Malaysia Automotive Recyclers Association. I would like to first invite Dr. Sebastian Copolande to speak. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the CITIC, and he is a former member of the Parliament of the Chemba constituency of the National Assembly of Zambia. And the floor is yours. Please limit the speech to about 5 or 10 minutes, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar, for which I'm very, very grateful. As we all understand and know, China is the factory of the world. China produces products that are consumed across the entire globe. Back in 2004, I established an organization called Zambia-China Business Association, and we started bringing delegations to China to attend the Canton Fair, which was a big show window for Chinese products. That initiative has been so very successful, and that helped push up trade between Zambia and China from a mere $100 million to what it is today, well above $5 billion in terms of total trade. Of course, for us, we are a small economy. $5 billion is something to celebrate, but for the other participants here, I don't think that's a big deal at all. But for us, it made a lot of difference. And what made the difference was the fact that we were able to travel to China twice a year for the Canton Fair. And for us African people, you believe what you see. And when you interact with a person, you establish a rapport. That person-to-person contact makes a huge difference in the levels of understanding of each other, the levels of trust, and the extent to which you can trade between you two. The restriction in the travel to China, definitely not a matter of choice due to the COVID pandemic, has negatively affected the extent to which we can trade with China. It has limited that. However, thanks to organizations and initiatives such as Made-in-China.com that has made online access to Chinese products, that helps to mitigate the loss of business that could have happened between companies here and companies that were trading with their counterparts in China. So it's a real major hindrance to trade. The lack of travel, I mean, it's a major hindrance to trade. And hopefully with the going down of COVID, the Chinese authority will soon be able to revisit the policy, as many other countries have done so far. In the meantime, it will be important for Made-in-China.com to make sure that they provide as much marketing support to the country representatives in the various parts of the world where you are operating, that we have access to as many support instruments as possible, so that we can make sure that we market the Made in China in our countries. And I think one of the major initiatives could be the provisions of a landing page for each of your partners, so that I think your IT people at Made-in-China.com should look at providing a landing page, especially for us in Zambia. We desperately need it, because it will give the confidence and it will give us the ability to trade activities that are happening between our clientele here and the Chinese manufacturers. So this is all I can ask, but the opportunities are still there, thanks to initiatives such as Made-in-China.com, which is helping promote trade even under the most difficult of circumstances. So thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to this webinar. Those were my few observations. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Sebastian. Do you have anything? Yeah. Oh, I'll start it off then. Glad to meet you, Mr. Sebastian. So I've seen like ZTech have assisted many clients in sourcing equipment for their various productive activities in the agricultural, construction, and in manufacturing business. So in this era where Chinese people can't travel and foreign people can't travel back into China, what do you think a better mechanism needs to be built for the whole international trading to be proceeded like correctly?
Well, I think that platforms such as Made-in-China.com is a very good initiative, and I think that the strengthening, like I said, area of the relationships between your country representatives and yourselves through the provision of marketing tools would greatly help. And also, of course, I know that there are situations where Chinese people would be allowed to travel. But I think that for this time, it would be more helpful for Chinese companies to do their best to participate in the various exhibitions that are taking place. I'll talk about Africa, because that's where I know. There are various exhibitions, business conferences going on. I think it would be important for Chinese companies to be open to participate in those events. Of course, from the Zambian side or from the African side, we will be able to share information with you on where an event is taking place and where and what the focus of that event is. So it is strengthening of your relationships with your local representatives to your participation in local exhibitions. And thirdly, as for Made-in-China.com, for us in Zambia, we need a landing page that should be able to help us promote business activities between Zambian companies and Chinese companies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sebastian, thank you very much for your introductory speech. It's a great introduction, and we have some time at the end for discussion as well. And he mentioned that an important way to go to Africa is especially now, is to take part in more trade shows and exhibitions. And I think Dr. Sebastian can help you go to more trade shows and exhibitions in Africa if you need to, in Zambia in particular. And we can talk about that
And have local
ability.
people as well.
And have some local people. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Dr. Sebastian. And now next up.
And with the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we actually have access to the rest of the African continent. So for those chambers in other parts of the world, if you're looking for business in Africa, you can talk to us. We'll be able to connect with our networks in the continent to be able to connect you with the people that you'd like to do
Good.
business.
Yeah, that's confirmed here. The whole of Africa. Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
as well as, you know, events and trade shows happening in Africa, we will be able to advise. Thanks.
His name. His name is Dr. Sebastian.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm from Luyuan Bike. Yeah, just listen to your speech. Yeah, I just want to ask that how about your people in Africa that do they like to driving the scooters or maybe like the bikes, or how many people will like it, and what kind of the scooters they will like, and also do you know some certificates or the registers your market or your country or in all of the Africa that will need to export to?
Hi, Dr. Sebastian. I'm not sure if you could hear her, but she asked about the size of the bike market, the motorbike market, the scooter market in Zambia, Africa, and what kind of certificates are required for the scooters to be imported to Zambia.
Yeah. Now, are you from Jiangsu Visual Machine? Is it?
She's from Zhejiang Luyuan, or you can say Luyuan, spelling L-U.
L-U?
Luyuan. Maybe it's
Y-U-A-N.
Yeah.
It's a massive e-bike company.
Okay.
E-bike company.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can get my my details and you can send me some information about your product. Now, we're talking about electric scooters, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, the entire Africa, the African Continental Free Trade Area is the size of 1.3 billion people. The COMESA, which is the sub-regional market, is a size of about 800 million people. So, in terms of demand for transport equipment such as motorcycles, with the high cost of fuel these days, many people are turning to using motorcycles with particular interest in either electric vehicles or LPG-driven motorcycles. I don't know what type of engines that are used on your motorcycles. Can you advise?
Maybe you can,
we can discuss
details.
We can discuss the details at the end, I think, and you two can be in contact as well, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
we can put you in contact and discuss the details. And so next up, I'd like to invite Peter from the Poland Chinese Chamber of Commerce and to give us a presentation. And we can get the presentation up.
Thank you.
Peter is also
yes,
founder.
please tell. Yes, please, Chris.
Yeah, Peter
Sorry.
is also the founder of Shipping Hub, a logistics platform for finding quotes for shipping from China, and also of a company called Examine China. So he does company checks on Chinese suppliers, and so he knows about you. And so
Well,
be careful.
Well, our mission and our consulting business in Chamber and Ship Hub is to connect buyers with the great suppliers, and this is our mission. And I know there's a lot of sometimes miscommunication and mismatch. However, we are working with for more than 12 years. We have been working with about a few thousands of buyers, mainly in Poland, but also we have a strong business, for example, in the United States. You mentioned Ship Hub. We've actually received an award on SILF, the Shenzhen logistics fair, as an innovative company, and we got, of course, Chinese version. But first of all, I've got prepared a little short presentation to give you our potential partners some tips that you can use in exporting to Europe in next year. But first of all, I would like also to introduce, my name is Piotr Sanowiecki. As Chris mentioned, we are doing a few things. We got a chamber, we got a consulting business with Examine China, as well as Ship Hub. And first of all, Zhongchou, Kuai, sorry for my speech, but I would like to, little late, but wish you all the best when it comes to the Mid-Autumn Festival. So I hope you got your mooncakes, and it was fantastic, and I wish you all the best in this upcoming year. And few tips about exporting products to Europe in 2023. And actually, as I want to say, that what we are seeing, it's from Poland. It's more than 40 million people in Poland, and 2021 was record when it comes to importing from China as well as exporting to China. So I would say it was a great year. I know that we have pandemics and all the problems and so on, and travel restriction still. However, we are seeing a lot of potential and coming for the next year as well. And I can tell you, we've been working with many buyers in Europe, from like a Fortune 500 company to small e-commerce businesses. And I'm super interested in working with all you guys, matching you with our buyers. We're doing trainings for them to show them how China works. We have like trips to China, of course. We've also helping with like onboarding them with and connecting with right partner, because it's very important to find the right partner in Europe and in China when it comes to volume, when it comes to high ticket, when it comes to other details. Some details that need to be done when you want to export your product to any European country that is in United Europe. So for example, it could be Germany, it could be Czech Republic, it could be Poland, and so on. But in some cases of the product, and not all the cases, you need CE certification at CE mark. And it's a whole topic, and I would love to give you some more advice, but I just want to say that if you, for example, exporting electronics in any kind, toys, medical supplies, for example, are machinery, it will be required from you. So I would really strongly advise you to be sure that your CE marking is done right. Also, it's important that if you want to keep the buyer will come and they will buy the product. But if you want to onboard buyer that will be stayed with you for second, third, and the 100th transport, you need to be sure that they are receiving the product that they need to. And sometimes also it's on buyer's side that they are not understand full all information about the CE. This is also what I'm trying to teach them. So as I said, we're trying to be matchmaker and help communicate both parties. So you know, as I know, that today, the best quality products when it comes to cars, to phones, even to planes and other things are made in China, like Made-in-China.com. Yes, so there's no doubt about it. In focus on our future, then when it comes to production, high quality, innovative products, China is place to go. And I'm sure about it. And I've been, as you also said, to Canton first, to all the other events. And I think also that Made-in-China.com is doing a great job when it comes to connecting both parties, especially in the hard times. Also, when it comes to marking, one thing that I want to mention, you probably also treat UK as a part of Europe, and yes, it is part of Europe, of course. However, so England, Ireland, okay, but they've left United Europe as the whole system with the Brexit. So now they've created their own CE. It's called UKCA. So maybe you already got products certified for this market, and it was like a transition period right now. But from January 1st, so just a few months from now, it will be absolutely required. So your product cannot be exported to the UK market, pretty big market, if it's not UKCA certificate, okay? And this is something different than CE. So I just want to mention it because I think it could be very important for you as well. Also, what we are seeing from our buyers and from even small e-commerce shop to the biggest brands, to the biggest buyers, they really want customization. They want OEM products, ODM products, OBM products. So they want their own logo, their own packaging and everything. And I think it's super important to have this option, this white label option, as a version of product that you want to sell to a particular market. Also, I would say it's super important to give them options when it comes to quality of the packaging, so they can do the marketing. Also, photos are super important where you're creating your prospect. So it's super important to give them this feedback. We also try to all our buyers to tell them to register a trademark in China and so on, but keep in mind to give them this option. Also, cost of transport, China to Europe dropped, and it will be dropping. It's a fact, okay? So now it's the best time. What I'm telling to my buyers, this is the time. It's still between Chinese New Year's Eve, okay, and it's still between our December and Christmas, when you can still find the great suppliers, but also the cost of the transport, which skyrocketed in last 2 years, now are dropping. So we are seeing the cost of transport just drop dramatically, I would say. So this is very good news, and it's also super important to communicate it to your potential buyers. As well, I need to say that the success of Belt and Road Initiative was a massive success. We've already knew it would be great solution, but what we are seeing, the trains from China to Europe are, going every day. And I think it's a great idea that this project came to life. And I think this is the future. This is the absolute future. So you need always to also offer the option of the train transportation to Poland. You need to know that Poland is a hub when it comes to trains. Europe's from China going directly to Poland. So I believe very strongly that Belt and Road will grow even more in the next 2 to 5 years. So this is the absolute future. And we're also seeing with our logistics business that it's much more interest generating than, for example, sea or air transport. So I would say huge congratulations. Also, I want to say in Europe, trade shows are back. So you will, when everything will open, and it will reopen shortly, I believe, optimistic, that you can go to many trade shows in Europe. This is also important to visit us. And if you need any help, please also feel free to contact me, okay? I will also give you one more tip. Sometimes there is the dollar is pretty strong right now when it comes to pricing. So it's super important that you are giving pricing in US dollars, but consider sometimes maybe also giving pricing in euros, and also if in yuan even, okay? So thank you very much. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. Please add me on WeChat. Here's you can scan it right now. You can scan it later, of course. Also my email address, of course. But the easiest way, of course, is to find me on WeChat. And I'm looking forward to work with you all. And I want to say very huge thank you for Made in China team for putting this great event, you, Chris, especially for hosting it very professionally, and all our guests who are doing fantastic job. And yeah, now I'm open to your questions. So please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. That was a great presentation, and I know you know a lot more, and you made it very short. So thank you for that. Is there any questions from you guys first?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Piotr. I'm Abby from Thinking Medical, and as you know, thank you for introducing the whole situation for China and Europe. Yes, and one of our almost the biggest market is in Europe, and we produce like hemostat and drosophila and rapid test. Yeah, and we want to like explore more products to Europe, and you know, our business is growing these years, and like we have money and team, but we are very the first stage to build our brand into an international one, and we are lack of local resources. Like we want to set up a branch office, yeah, in Europe. Yeah, maybe in Poland, but we don't know how to start this one. Yeah. So I was wondering, yeah, does Poland encourage Chinese manufacturer to set up this kind of branch office? Yeah, in Poland. Yeah, is any encouraging policy there? Thank you.
Well, great question, and of course, add me on WeChat, and I would be love to help you guys more with this this challenge. From what I'm seeing so far, we've already got few like a joint venture partnership between Poland and China when it even comes to car production. Yeah, I think there is a lot of space for cooperation here, and when it comes to opening office and everything, I think it's a good option. And also you need to find the right partners in Europe to be sure that your interest is also protected here in Europe when it comes to trademark registration and so on, to domain name and so on. So I would say it's super important to also protect, in the first place, you need to protect your brand, your company, and choose your partners wisely. And if you would like, please send me an email and we can discuss the details. But yeah, I would think what we are seeing, it's we used to see like made in China, and it's made in China, but we now see designed in China. Yeah. So if you look for like great companies like yours, of course, but also like Xiaomi, Lenovo, DJI, they are well-recognized global brands. Their origin from China. But what they done right when they're gone global is to protect also their property when it comes to trademark and everything. So I would say to Chinese company, all the Chinese company with the great innovative product, go global. Your products are top notch when we look especially in vehicles, customer electronics, and so on. So I think it's a great idea, and please contact me for more details. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Keep in touch.
Thanks.
Great.
We'll be in touch. Yeah. For more details, go to email or WeChat.
Yeah.
That will do.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Pietro. Nice to meet you. This is Kevin
Great to
from
meet you.
Shanghai Screw Compressor Company. We are a company who focus on screw air compressor technology more than 24 years.
Wow.
Actually, we have a very big partner in Poland, and we have very good relationship. But I think it is not impact. We establish good relationship with you, Mr. Pietro. So which I want to. My question is, I want to know the real situation, economic situation between Poland and Russia and Ukraine now, because you know the Russia and
Yes.
Ukraine's war that impact a lot, and in the past 7 months during this year, we almost not received any orders from our Polish partners. But I think starting this August, so many orders come to SCR. So this is a very strange situation. So I want to know the real situation in your country. Maybe you can share with us your economic situation in the markets now.
Okay, this is good, great question. So first of all, the lack of orders that started right now, I think it was mainly connected to the prices of the transport. So you know how the freight forwarders and carriers ramp up the prices a little bit, and now I think it's time to order. So you will see new orders. When it comes to like a geopolitical situation, I will tell you that nobody stopped the train, and nobody will stop the train. Okay, the first thing. And when it comes to Poland, we have borders with Ukraine. However, the situation is totally 100% safe. Okay, Poland is also part of NATO, and we have now like when it comes to like to arms and everything, we are super strong when it comes to spending for military and so on, but there is no like direct military, a connection here. So I would say it's totally safe right now when it comes to situation with Ukraine. And I will also say that what we are seeing right now, the war is of course impacted some things. However, the worst is behind us. Okay. So we've seen some potential problems, but now we are 100% sure that we are stronger than even before, to be honest. And when it comes to problems and economic situation, yes, the Poland still have like the two biggest problem from the buyer's perspective. One is pretty huge prices of dollar. US dollar is very strong, as always when there is any war going in the world. So this is one challenge, the pricing of the dollar. The second thing is inflation. So we've got like more than 10% of inflation right now. So this is the issue, and it will be growing. And from what economics are saying, it will be till February of the next year, it will like peaked. So we will be seeing it growing, but after that, it should be some slowdown of inflation. So I would say that, yes, the war is not such a big challenge when it comes to the relationship. However, inflation and pricing of the dollar is. But we are also seeing some challenges always. Yeah, it used to be situation with with whole pandemic thing, with cost of transport and everything, and then war. But now I think the inflation and pricing of the dollar is the biggest challenge for the buyers. If you want to, of course, ask other question, please also.
Thank you, Mr. Pietro.
Peter,
Thank you.
thank you very much for that. That's lots of information there. And hopefully, if there's time at the end, we can have some more questions as well. And
of course,
I better bring the other speakers in for quickly now. And thanks a lot, Peter. And next, well, let's go to Holland, shall we? Not too far away from Poland. We'll go to Holland. And I'm delighted to have Mr. Danny van der Heuvel, the Managing Director of the Dutch Chinese Chamber of Commerce. And Danny spent, I think, at least 5 or 6 years in Xiamen.
In China.
Yeah, in China, doing various businesses of trade. And so, yeah, Danny, please introduce yourself and services.
Thank you, Chris. I'll just keep it short. I joined very last minute.
Nice and loud, please, Danny. Nice and loud.
Let me see if I can.
Our TV is not too loud. Yeah, it's okay.
No.
Thank you.
So I'm Danny, Managing Director of the Dutch Chinese Chamber of Commerce. We are a partner of Made in China since about half a year now, and we have made some substantial projects together. One of them is the Medica Trade Fair that is coming up. We mostly help Chinese companies, SMEs, to set foot ground in Europe, and we do an all-in-one stop service for landing your products. We help you with trademarking, importing, exporting, logistics, trade fairs, finding suppliers, market research, anything you want, we can help you with it. We mostly focus on trade fairs. We have connection with all the great German organizers like Messe Düsseldorf, Deutsche Messe, You name it, we can get you in. We usually have pavilions on these big fairs in Germany, where we group 5 or 6 suppliers at a time and organize events around it. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, Danny, thank you very much. I know Danny well. He helped us, Made in China, get a booth at Medica. Medica is the big
Biggest
expo
one.
in Germany. And maybe, in Germany, yeah. Danny, maybe very quickly you could answer the question about, is Holland a good place for a European branch office? And is that something you can help with?
Definitely. I can't go in too much detail at the moment, but the Netherlands has a very pro investing climate for new businesses. You get tax breaks also for expats that you send in. And you can get tax rulings if you have a relatively large size company.
Yeah, and you about the electric bikes, Danny. I mean, Holland is famous for bikes as well. Yeah, is it still popular, or are people using more of the, what's it called, the pedal bike? The physical bike. Is it
No, the current trend is that everyone is buying an e-bike, electric bike.
e-bikes?
Yeah,
So scooter over e-bikes.
it depends on the distance you have to travel. The Netherlands consists of some larger cities with groups of villages around it. The further away you are, the more eager you will be willing to buy a scooter instead of an e-bike.
Thank you.
I see. So in the cities, the main cities, the e-bikes are more popular, and
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
And the farther you go, the scooter gets better.
That is correct.
yeah. Okay, Danny. Is there any other questions for Danny?
Hello, sir. In your opinion, that your people can accept the e-bikes or the e-motorcycles? I want to, because we have the plan to export to European, and European will be our main market in next year. So we're wondering that if you can give us some advice that in your company, if there's some policy or certificate that is required, or some policy that can support us to export the e-bike or the e-motorcycles to your country. Thank you.
Did you hear it, Danny?
Yes, I got it
Okay.
loud and
Can you
clear.
hear me?
Thank you.
Yes.
I think it will be good to have contact after this meeting to figure
So-
out the details.
She said you can contact him. But in general, is there any supportive policies in Holland for the import of electric bikes and certificates from China?
It's
Or is it-
it's according to the European standard. So
So
you
the
need
same-
CE on the
yeah.
batteries. You may need to take into account certain height requirements for your front lights and back lights.
Okay.
So a series of qualifications.
For the back lights and front lights, he said might be some extra
Mm,
issues.
issues
That you need to do
meet
the
the standard for
certificate.
it.
Okay, thank you,
Not
sir.
issues, Chris, just regulations.
Regulations. Yeah.
Meet the standard.
Regulations.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
as Peter said, it's a European wide phenomenon, and that's great.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, hello, Mr. Danny, and I'm Abby from Thinking Medical. And our biggest market is Europe, and I want to ask you, could you briefly help introduce the COVID-19 situation in Europe? Yep. And second, because our company produce like rapid test, like COVID-19 antigen self-test, to prevent the COVID-19. Yeah, so I want to know will Europeans still use antigen self-test in the future? Yeah, what's your policy for COVID-19 test? Because in China we have zero dynamic policy. So I just want to know what's the European policy? Yeah, thank you.
All right, I understood it. It's a little bit difficult to predict because right now in Europe, everything is open. Life is pretty much back to normal. The general tendency is that there will be another wave of COVID infections over the winter, but it is not likely that there will be lockdowns. In the Netherlands and in Germany, and maybe also for the rest of Europe, the general advice that governments give is to test yourself at home with a rapid antigen test. But at the moment, and I think in the near future, there will be no mandatory tests implemented in the EU.
So very interesting.
But
How much
the
does?
side,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
the side note is that if there is a mutation that is severe enough, then everything may change. So it's really difficult to predict.
How much is a very quickly? How much is a rapid antigen test in Holland at the moment? And I'll ask you also, Vitor, later for Portugal.
You
much does it
can
cost?
get 5 tests for 7-8 euros.
Oh, not too
So-
expensive.
A pack of 5, around €1.50 per test.
Ah, I heard in England it's very expensive. Where I'm from, now it's very expensive. Okay, Danny, thank you very much for all of this, and we can share contact details later as well. And okay, thank you, Danny.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next, we'll scoot over to Portugal and find out how much those rapid antigen tests cost over there, and in sunny Portugal.
You can't get over anything.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Vitor Costa. He's the head of North Portugal at the Portugal-China Chamber of Commerce, and I believe he's been there for 11 years, connecting China with Portugal for investment, trade, and everything. So I'm very happy to have you here, and I think you'll talk to us today about some challenges of Portuguese importers and the strategies for helping them to import from China when they come to you. Okay, Vitor, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Is the sound okay for you?
It's okay, but maybe just shout a little bit, just on our
Okay, I'll
side.
try to speak
You
louder.
Just shout. Yeah, just shout.
Okay.
Thanks.
So first of all, yes, as Chris said before, my name is Vitor. I am representing the Portugal-China Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, thank you to Made-in-China. Thank you to Chris for this invitation. I'm happy to share with you a little bit of what is our experience as a Chamber of Commerce when we are helping our members doing their sourcing from China. So the first thing that I would like to talk about, and this may be maybe a sensitive subject, but it is what it is. It's about the risk of identify when we are doing our sourcing, identify a company that we think that is a good one, and it might not be that good. So as you said, Chris, I'm working at the chamber for 10 years, more or less, and all these years we are receiving, I would say, almost in a weekly basis, reports or contacts from companies that try to do business with some Chinese counterpart that they found, and in the end they had some problems. They did not receive what they were asking for. All those stories that you probably heard before. So there's always this risk that we need to manage when we are doing our sourcing in China. The second thing that I would like to talk about, it's the specifics of the Portuguese market. So most of our companies are small, medium enterprises. I would say 99%. So they don't have the capability of pay expensive fees to those consultancy companies that provide sourcing services. And also, if they have one of these problems that I mentioned before, since they are that small, this could be I would say a life-threatening experience for these companies. So about our process, about the way that we do our sourcing in China, or we used to do, we tried several solutions. We contacted different institutions, but we never really find proper way that we would feel comfortable to provide this service to our members. So what we do, we have a colleague that work in China for 20 years. She speaks Chinese fluently and she knows all of these dynamics. And so she would go to the internet and she will spend hours and hours and hours trying to identify these suppliers, trying to understand if they are a good company, if there are any red flags, assessing their websites, assessing their contacts, everything that she could do. But this was a very time-consuming process. So at the end, we were always trying to find a different solution. And we, of course, we knew Made in China before. It was one of the places that we used to do our sourcing. But we still didn't have the necessary knowledge to understand if we can trust or not. So then we finally contact with you, or you contacted with us, Chris, and we talk about it. And you explain how you work, and you explain that you have that you can provide these suppliers lists and we can trust them. And we try that, and it was very, very different, because I remember our first try, I asked you for a list, and I would say the next day we had our list in our hands, and that made really easy, really simple for us. So it's a pleasure to be cooperating with Made in China. And my advice would be, of course, there are many sourcing platforms in China. My advice would be just to bet on informing these companies how can they filter the best suppliers, the different levels of security that they can apply, and basically that's it. That's what I had to say here. Thank you. Happy to reply to any question. And about the COVID tests, I would say it's the same as in Holland. I would say the same price, more or less. You can go to the supermarket and buy a test with a few euros, quite cheap nowadays, I would say.
So a few euros for a COVID test in Portugal now, a few euros.
A box with several tests.
I see.
Yeah.
So Vitor was talking about trying to find reliable Chinese suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
So did you say, Vitor, that you had a lot of problems with Chinese suppliers?
No, actually,
your clients?
We as a chamber, we had the lucky we still didn't find any of these problems. But if you are a company that knows nothing about the Chinese market, they don't know how to assess these companies, and they just go by themselves, and in the end they find they can find problems. Okay. And that after they have these problems, they come to us, try to find a solution. It's always very difficult. But yeah,
So he said they have many buyers in Portugal that have problems with Chinese suppliers, and then come to him afterwards to help fix it.
Yeah. So we try to inform. That's what we do. We did a lot of. During COVID, we did some webinars. We already did some events where we try to inform the necessary steps, or the steps that a company should take in order to do their sourcing in a more safer way in China.
So thanks again. So I believe our suppliers here today is really in the way of doing it vice versa. So we have importers in your country saying they have problems with maybe not that great Chinese suppliers, and now we have top suppliers sitting next to us. So would you think, is there better ways to promote them? And would you think of the difference of promoting, let's say, e-bike business and medical equipment, or even I believe Sebastian has a question.
Yes, I have a question. Following is it Vitor? What Vitor has said about the difficulty regarding suppliers from China that are not reliable. Is it something that Made-in-China.com can assist with in resolving? And because we have cases where some companies in China, people that are known with their addresses, they say send money, somebody sends money to them and they just don't send the goods. I have a case, somebody sent $32,000 to this guy in Guangzhou, and it's now 7 years. Is this
asking
something that
Made in China now has,
China.com can assist with?
yeah, Made in China, it's a very difficult to get your money back from a bad supplier if you make the deal offline, you know, through bank transfers and so on. But, you know, Made in China now has a global payment system where the buyer can pay Made-in-China.com the money, and Made-in-China.com will hold the money for you, for the buyer, and then release the money to the buyer, to the supplier after
According to the
agreed upon time.
contract.
Yeah, according to the contract that they make. So that can help your buyers have some security as well. And yeah, that's one way that we can help.
Also, like we discussed with our suppliers today, the role of the third parties playing for business development or in terms of doing real B2B business, the third party website or third party people, their purpose is to, you know, decline the trust issues and try to solve the potential like disputes and, you know, solve the problems before they happen.
And from my experience, I can say as well that Peter and Danny are actually very good at finding reliable suppliers as well. And
Chris, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just want to add, we've seen also some of the problems, but in the end of the day, I would say this is the buyer's job to do the due diligence, okay? If someone is sending money straight to some other person from the internet in, I don't know, China, Brazil, Poland, whatever gets you, it's your job as a buyer to do diligence. Made-in-China job is show the best buyers probably, and you're doing fantastic job with that. The job of the buyers is to find the right supplier, and what they are doing, because they are many times lazy, and I've seen this issue many times. So they don't do quality checks, then they don't do checking the CE mark certification before, they don't doing the due diligence of the basic documents. They need to be provided before you send $2 to any other company on the internet, okay? And if someone decided they want to do international business, cross-border trade in huge volume, they need to understand basic laws, basic documentation in between this and that country, and not just go and cry because someone from the internet took my money, okay? This is just my 2 cents here. So I would say there are thousands of great suppliers in China, but this is the buyer's job to find them, okay? And what we can do, all of us here, is to provide some guidelines, to provide some help with this. But in the end of the day, let's be honest about that. If someone not doing the due diligence, they are just straight honest, you know, not very, you know, intelligent about it. Let's call it that way, okay?
It's true, and I agree with you, Peter. I'm just saying, and I don't mean to say that this is happening generally speaking. Okay, I'm just saying sometimes there's a risk, and people need to understand that, and they need to know they have to do the due diligence. But when they come to us, or the problem already happened, so we cannot tell them to do the due diligence now. So I don't mean to
I get you.
But so we don't mean to say this happened all the time, okay? We're just saying
I get you.
There's a risk, and Made in China is a platform that can help us to avoid that kind of problems. That's the main idea that I would like to convey here.
So back to Rachel. So thanks for the sharing. So, you know, we have top 4 like suppliers here today with us. And I'm thinking, especially let's say for our compressor company and for our blue sky company. So their product sells to different people. For compressor company, they need to find, let's say, another big company that needs compressor in their production line. And for blue sky, they might need to, march into local retail business. They want more people to buy their products. So do you have any suggestions on them, like separately, how they should march into different like markets, like let's say the Portugal market?
Well, yeah, of course, they can come to us and we'll help them to do some sort of promotion on those companies that might need that type of products. I don't have any company on the top of my head, but of course, Portugal is a really small country, so it's very easy for us to be well connected here. And from all the institutions to companies, if we don't know them, we can get to them in the easy way. So yeah, you can contact us, and we are happy to help you with some possible solutions, of course.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vito. Oh, sure,
Sorry,
we have one more
Mr.
question.
Victor, I just have
sure.
a small question.
Sure.
I just want to know, do you have any recommendation for the first station? For the first station, if SCR want to dispatch some salesmen to promote our machinery equipments in Portugal, do you have any recommendation for your country city? And this city is how can I say it? It's specialized for some industry, for manufacturing industries.
Oh, the north of the country is where we have the main industries. The heavy industries are all located at the north of the country. We have the textile industry, footwear industry. We also have automotive industry, molds industry. There's a few industries there we are very good at. So, but basically, I would say the north of the country is the place to be for this type of industries.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Because we have very nice customer in Spain, but in Portugal, many years we still cannot find some good partners here now. So we have a plan to dispatch some salesmen to this place, to your country. Sorry, to your country, and want to find some nice partner there. So
Okay.
Thanks for your suggestions.
It's a pleasure. And if you need anything else, just happy to talk with you after. Okay.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
leave the details.
You said the north of Portugal, Vito, right? That's
Yeah.
what I heard. You said the north of Portugal, and you can be in touch, and Vito can help you. That'd be quite nice. He's the head of North Portugal, so it should be. You should
I'm
know.
the head.
You should know,
Thank
Vito.
you.
Don't let us down. Okay.
Thank you. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the sake of time, I'll move on to our final speaker. Thank you very much, Vito. And Mr. Paul from the committee member of the Malaysia Automotive Recyclers Association, and to discuss opportunities for SMEs in the recycling industry, and especially the new electric vehicles.
Oh, hello, I'm Paul from Malaysia.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Please talk nice and loud, extra loud.
Okay, basically we are the NGO. We are part of the association, Malaysia Automotive Recycler Associations. We are a team of members who are enthusiastic into this use part, whereby we know that how important is accessibility for this auto part, especially there is a lot of auto parts in the industry, but what if those used one, where you go and how you dispose it? This is all what we do, and we have about 200 plus of members in our associations. Those are all the business owner, so they are also dealing with all the auto parts. So basically, when we do this, it's more to we are a group of NGO that all enthusiasts group together, and we see how to enhance the automotive industry. So as part of Made in China, because parts in most of the parts also, we also sourcing from China as well. And Made in China actually just help us to link up some supplier in China as well. So far, of course, due to this MCO and the restriction of this travel, of course, we are facing all these high costs of imports and all these logistic issues. So maybe the market uncertainties also affected all our business and in Malaysia as well. But of course, China and Malaysia, I think the relationship on all this sourcing is, I would say, quite positive and quite good, especially we're coming on the next year, 2023. I think there will be picking up as well. And see how is the whole market currency, and it depends. So far, I think we to access to Made in China, and sometimes we can access to Made in China is quite easy for us, basically.
So you're also recycling the parts for the electric vehicles, such as motorcycles and stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, in this area on the electric parts and all this is getting there now. Malaysia is actually putting a lot of efforts to this EV. Of course, this is a new market segment for Malaysia to actually boom up for the next coming years, and this industry in Malaysia is getting more stable now, and there's a lot of all the big major car manufacturers have also electric car, and I think Geely in China also come to take a part of our local national car as well. So yes, but I think for EV is still quite new for us also, because it's only like this recent years the EV automotive is in Malaysia, so that's why there is a good future for it. But of course, we still need a lot of expertise in this industry to actually help us to how to recycle the used part for these EV cars and parts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. And because of the shortage of time now, I just want to open up the whole floor to any last questions from any of you to any of you. Does anyone have any questions on either side to anyone, just as we come to the end of this lovely seminar? Because I know you're all busy. I don't want to take too much time. Do you have any more questions for any of the speakers today?
Hello. Hello. This is Emma. For Nanjing Blue Sky Filter, our company produce a lot of air filters for many cars. I want to know what's a favorite car brand in Malaysia, because our company is going to develop the market in Malaysia. So do you have some suggestion for air filters if we want to sell in Malaysia? Or what's a favorite brand, such a car brand, or Malaysian people would prefer buy Japanese car or some German cars? Thank you.
Mr. Paul.
I mean, to answer your questions, actually, especially filters, I cannot tell you exactly the ratio on European car and Japanese car, but of course, I think the ratio is quite equal. But then my suggestion that if you want to enter to Malaysian market, the easiest and faster way is because Geely car is already China manufacturers. They already bought over on our national car brand, about 40%. So basically, if you want to start filter, you should produce the filter that can suit your Geely cars, and from there you can focus on that filter first, and then from there you can bring in export into Malaysia to sell on, because the chassis of the car is mostly from the model.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Sebastian. Yeah.
Dr. Sebastian, we have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay.
That Africa is also one of our markets, and we don't have like a business in Africa, especially South Africa. Yeah. And I remember that you mentioned the like Congress in Africa, and I want to know like what kind of medical device is in high demand in Africa. Yeah, and maybe we can like develop some. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you say metal device?
A medical device.
Oh, medical device.
Yeah.
She asked which type of medical device is very popular in South Africa and in Africa in general. If you're not aware, you could tell.
Leave it
Well-
to further discussions.
Well, look, I can just answer it like this simply. Okay. There are human beings in Africa, and there are human beings in Europe, in America, in China. And all human beings are made in exactly the same biological makeup.
No, I didn't understand the question.
So therefore, any medical device that is used in China is also applicable in Africa. It's applicable in America, it's applicable. So it's all across the board. Obviously, there are specific maybe ailments that may be more common in one area than they are in the other. At the moment, non-communicable disease occurrences are going up. So you're looking for more devices required for kidney disease, for high blood pressure, for heart disease, and all that. So it's an entire spectrum of medical facilities that are required. So what I would like to do is, in fact, my question was, how can we get more information from all the companies that are participating in this webinar from China, so that we can follow up on those. You know, obviously the medical company is of interest, the compressors is of interest. You know, we are a big mining country here, so is our neighbor DRC, so equipment such as compressors would be very helpful, motorbikes for general transportation. So I would like to get information on the companies, on each of the companies that has participated. Is there any way that I can be able to access that information on the individual companies?
Okay, everyone. Thank you, Sebastian. We're gonna answer your question and put you in touch to find out about more companies shortly. And we promise to stick to a tight schedule. And I'm really happy that all of you could join us today.
And thanks for the effort. I think the purpose for us to be here today is really to build bonds between chamber people and our suppliers, and which lead us to the theme, the secret theme behind all this, which is trust, to which I'd like to end with a poem I got from the internet. So it's like so many other things in life to which you must say no or yes. So take your car to the new mechanic. Sometimes the best thing to do is trust. Thank you all very much. And we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
your insights.
Thank
and we're
you.
all going to stay
Bye-bye.
in touch as well with
Yeah.
our suppliers and everyone else. We can discuss more details soon.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you very much. for
Thank you very
joining.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 With you, Jojo, at one point. Thank you. That's good. Thank you very much.